inspire each other in your life and be an inspiration just with your life, right? I want you to encourage you to do that, and you all do that. I can tell. Standing right here, I think you all do that. You all inspire each other. It's beautiful. And I want to call on the southern gate, and I'm going to get my friend Kate to come up. She's going to show you the sweetgrass, and I just wanted to give you a teaching. The southern gate is the element is fire. And when we think about fire, I think about all the campfires we've sat around when we were kids and sharing stories, and that we sit around now and we go camping, and the campfire is so old and so ancient and as a way of sharing knowledge and stories and love for each other. So when you're sitting around your campfires, think about that and think about just the sparks that happen between people when we meet. The sweetgrass is braided in three for a reason. As you see, it's braided in three. And the three elements are humanity, the world, and the sky, and all the bodies in the sky, the heavenly bodies. And they're braided together to symbolize that they are together, that we are all three connected. And I want you to think about that too. And we burn the sweetgrass. When we burn the sweetgrass, it opens our heart to love and to that truth, that essential truth, that even if you feel alone, you're really not ever alone, okay? I want you to take that and believe that and reach out. If you're lonely, reach out. If you're isolated, please reach out. I want to think about all the people who couldn't be here today, who are trans. Think about them and reach out to them in all your communities, okay? Anyway, I want to thank Kate for helping me, trying to help me like the sweetgrass. And if you want to come up and smell the sweetgrass and bring it into you, please feel free to do that while we're assembling here, okay? And I want you to go and have a great march.
Yep, that's good. Thank you. So, in case you didn't catch it, my name is Rick Smith, and Kyle is my brother. Thank you. It's my first time attending the Trans March, but it's not going to be my last. And thank you. And I'm here to pay respects to my brother Kyle, because he's been honored as the honor trans, the honor trans individual for Pride 2013. I'm heartened to look out and see so many people that are here to march in remembrance of those who have fallen, and to support each other. Gotta hit me harder. And to support those whom we love. I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about being here. On one hand, I'm really pleased to have Kyle's life work remembered and honored. On the other hand, I'm saddened that Kyle and many other members of the trans community could not be here to witness this event. I'd like to admit also that I'm not qualified. I'm trying to read. That I'm not qualified to speak about Kyle's work in the community. So instead, I'd like to talk a little bit about my brother as a person, for those of you who didn't know him. Kyle was born just down the road in Hamilton, Ontario, to our ordinary family, and he grew up doing all the things that just everybody likes to do. You know, he liked to play saxophone and sing and swim and hike. He'd canoe, read, watch movies. He was a bright student. He was just an ordinary kid in so many ways. But looks can be deceiving. While as a child he may have appeared ordinary, he grew up to be an extraordinary man. Kyle was kind and caring. He joined the bereaved families of Ontario in order to get support after the death of our mother, and ended up becoming a counselor with them. Kyle had a strong work ethic, a desire to help those who faced the most barriers to their own empowerment. Kyle was passionate. He loved his family, his friends, his community, and his cats. Kyle was a great brother. He was always supportive of me when I needed it most. Kyle loved to travel, and he loved animals. And every year he seemed to be able to make those passions combine and take the dream trips that we all would love to take. He'd go swimming with the dolphins in the Bahamas. He'd go hiking in Botswana to meet the mountain gorillas. And he'd just hang out with the koalas in Australia. Now that was a life well lived. But Kyle had his personal demons too. He'd been quietly fighting his personal fight for over 20 years against depression and paranoia. The most incredible thing about Kyle is not that he ultimately succumbed to those overwhelming forces, but that he managed to be so resilient for so long and accomplish so much in his short life. Some of those accomplishments include being the first trans man to be inducted into the Canadian Lesbian and Gay Archives. Kyle also worked as an educator and trainer and research coordinator for the 519 Community Center and coordinated their trans program. Kyle was the executive director of the Lesbian, Gay, Bi, Trans Youth Line, worked on the Trans Pulse Project and Bulletin in order to research trans issues. He consulted on the Out and Proud affirmation guidelines for the CAS. He worked as a youth mentor, and he worked on QTV as a researcher. There are many more accomplishments, but I'm going to run out of time. What always amazed me about Kyle was his positive attitude and drive. Given his personal problems, Kyle could have just as easily have given up hope, but he didn't. He was a fighter. In that spirit, there's one message I would like to give you today. Don't give up hope. Things will improve for the community of work together. Kyle's legacy is proof of that. In closing, I would like to share a quote that Kyle requested that I read at his memorial. From Ralph Waldo Emerson. To laugh, often and much, to win the respect of honest critics, and to endure the betrayal of false friends. To appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. I like to think that Kyle is looking down upon the march today. I think he'd be a little bit embarrassed at all the ceremony, but he'd be outwardly proud and justified that he helped so many people. He would realize what a huge success he was. Kyle used to say to me, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I'd like to think that we're all here today to stand for something, the trans community. So, thanks very much.
We deconstruct gender in our daily lives. Our gender identities are revolutionary by definition. We are in between and or beyond the gender construct. Them, here, their are pronouns that should be uttered more often and forgotten or excused less in our trans spaces and languages. We are not to be forgotten. We can and are, if we choose to, be part of the trans community. We exist, and today, as magical beings, we will engage the revolutionary act of existing. Today, we march for rights. We march for those who are not able to. For those that are no longer with us. Today, magic will fill the air as we join this march to become visible to all. Thank you.
Let it rain, because no one can rain on your parade today. Yeah. Nobody can say you don't belong. nobody can take your rights away. And for the first time, Yonge Street is yours. About to mention a very special person. The mic responded to a good friend of mine, Susan Captain. Susan was coming out as a placement student in my office, and she faced discrimination. There are counselors that has washroom issues. We got dealt with that. We had so much barrier, but Susan stared them all down and said, I belong here, I belong to City Hall, and she became an amazing activist. And thank you to her and all of you. It's not good enough just to have Toby Law in Ontario. We want a law across Canada that trans people cannot be discriminated, right? Yeah.
Es hora que los diputados y los parlamentarios entiendan que ellos están para legislar leyes que mejoren la calidad de vida de nuestra población.
It is time for the House of Commons and for the Senate, for them to know that they are here to serve us and to create laws that will allow us to have a better quality of life.
Yeah. Really? Like every year I go like, what?